Good morning. Welcome to the 2023 Governor's Workforce Summit. Our moderator today is Sana Joseph Smith. She's the Policy Advisor of the Office of the Governor. Our panelists today are Eric Sanier, Director of Business Attraction and Entrepreneurship, John M. Morosco, State Director of VI Small Business Development Center, David Genaro, our Regional Director at Equus Workforce Solutions, and Shenika Sebastien, Director of Youth and Apprenticeship for VI Department of Labor.
Thank you so much. I am Sana Joseph Smith, and we do have one correction. Eric was unable to make it and be here with us today, but if you miss him, watch the St. Croix recordings and you can catch some tidbits that he shared over there. And to get us started, I want you guys to get to know these fabulous people that we have here today. So I'm going to ask you guys to just give me a quick 30-second bio and introduction, and you have to tell me why you decided to spend your morning with me today. So we'll start with John.
I'll start with spending the morning that was a no-brainer. Anything that we can do to improve and help anybody on the island to move forward, especially in entrepreneurship, it's like I'm on board. So, and then we pulled off some really great sessions. So, John Morosco, I moved back to the island in August. I had lived in St. Croix for many years. And my background is 40 years in hotel restaurant work. I was an associate professor at the University of the Virgin Islands, and I've been working for the Small Business Development Centers. You'll hear SBDC, but the Small Business Development Centers from 2014 until today, and I was in Washington State, Iowa, and now back to my beloved Virgin Islands. And I've owned 3 small businesses myself, as well as working in corporate America for all those years.
Awesome.
I'm old.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Shenika, since you have the mic.
Thank you for having me. Shenika Sebastien, the Director of Youth and Apprenticeship at the Virgin Islands Department of Labor. I've actually spent 2 decades, believe it or not. I know I look young.
You started when you were 2.
Maybe 3. But over 2 decades working with youths and adults and dislocated workers. But my true passion is working with youths. I've been able to initiate programs, implement programs that help youth transition into employment. So our main focus is those career services. I do believe in the strength and impact the youths can have on the community. And that's why I've committed, I'll say, my whole life to the Department of Labor. Why I'm here today, I've been voluntold, but I'm glad to be here.
That works, too. That works.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name is David Genaro. I'm the Regional Director for Equus Workforce Solutions. Before I get into my bio, why I'm here, we're about changing lives. And what we did in St. Croix, what we do every year, what we do every day is change lives and make an impact to the community. And so that's why we're here. As for me, I've had over 30 years of experience in workforce development.
You ranges.
Yes, about 2.5. 30 years in experience in workforce development, ranging from adult populations and ranging from dislocated workers across the nation. Right now, I'm the regional director over New York City, Pennsylvania, some Colorado, New Hampshire, and the territories. But like Mr. Sebastien states, my passion is for the youth also. I run a lot of youth contracts, and it's about making an impact with the youth and changing what the youth are today. You know, we wouldn't be here if we didn't have the impactful guidance of the adults when we were young. We want to share that knowledge with the youth to make sure they make an impact.
Awesome, awesome. So, and my background, I always tell folks is that I work part-time for the government, 80 hours every 2 weeks, and I work full-time in my businesses. And so my background is in entrepreneurship, having run several different companies, including between a restaurant, embroidery store, real estate, and then because I'm bored, I have a financial literacy nonprofit. So this is geeking me out. This is all what I love to talk about. And let's jump straight in. You know, our topic today is really about how training and innovation works together to really, encourage entrepreneurship, especially in the territory. We are entering a phase where there's so many businesses that are needed that we just don't even have to begin with. And then we need duplication of other services. So I'd like a round robin. If you guys can just share in your particular area of expertise, can you tell me about one particular program or training that you have that is supporting the entrepreneurial spirit and entrepreneurs, period? And I know, let me clarify, because we spoke a lot about youth and the passion for youth, but this is for anyone. This could be somebody who is transitioning careers. This could be entrepreneurs like myself already, which, let me tell you, I've used services from all three of them at different stages of my business's lifetime. So it never gets old. So we may, tailor one thing to one direction, but understand it's for anyone that's interested in entrepreneurship. So what's your nugget training that you guys have, or program that you have available that you feel has been really supportive of entrepreneurship?
Well, I can start it off, Sana. We represent the American Job Center, and we don't have a per se.
What's the American Job Center? Let's break that down. People get confused.
American Job Center is a WIOA Title I program where our program helps the adults and dislocated workers coming in for services, coming from employment, coming for education, anywhere we can support and whatever support that they need at home.
And you guys are located where?
We're located on 3 islands.
Okay.
St. John. We have right here St. Thomas, right here by the, what's that location?
Vital. Labor.
Department of both of them, Vital in St. Croix and in St. Thomas.
All right, so basically if you walk into Department of Labor,
Yep.
you'll see the American Job Center house there. All right, go ahead. What's your program?
So right now we offer services. We will offer educational and training skill sets for entrepreneurships. We'll career awareness, career counseling, and also up-to-date employment and labor market information. And more importantly, we are creating right now a specialized curriculum with metrics learning for entrepreneurship curriculum.
So what would they learn? So, I mean, you just said
We'll
how
learn
much.
budgets, we'll learn how to market oneself, we'll learn how to create capital markets for them. We'll also teach them how to create innovative products that will make social change, economic change.
And how much do you guys charge when they walk in?
You know what? That's a very expensive question. We charge $0. It is free
Nice.
for everybody that comes in. It's free for anybody who needs supportive services, any type of services. Even if you're not looking for employment, we will offer the support and services with other of our core partners.
And what's also great for those entrepreneurs, that if you're trying to skill up or level up one of your team members, send them here, because you can then get them trained and get them great skills from the American Job Center.
And within our metrics learning platform, once you start our entrepreneurship curriculum, we will also bring in the work experience employees. We'll also offer on-the-job training to create that career path for you.
All right, I think this is a great segue over to Shenika. I'm completely biased.
Definitely, because
Use her programs.
we
Go ahead.
provide some of the same services as you do, but our focus is on youth. So I would say all our programs really provide the guidance or the exposure to the entrepreneurship career pathways. But one of the programs I really think is successful, and not just entrepreneurship or just career pathways, is our work-based learning programs. That practical, hands-on, on-the-job training, and they're able to really see and figure out the different career paths that they really want to follow. So that work-based learning is a key factor, which kind of leads me into apprenticeship.
Nice.
Right? And apprenticeships is basically a job that combines the on-the-job training and the classroom training. And those occupations we know has traditionally been in plumbing, carpentries. Those are the infrastructure of economic development, entrepreneur occupations. But apprenticeship is not limited anymore to those traditional occupations. It has developed into IT, into healthcare. So apprenticeship, work-based learnings, those are the key factors.
Awesome. And I can vouch, again, as an entrepreneur, every year, any of my companies that have employees have always signed up for the youth program in the summer, because our thought process is that if we can get an intern coming in the summer, you know how expensive it is to train someone and then they run off. But what if you can train them and you don't have to pay for it, and then you get to keep that person? You can hire them permanently. So I can tell you that I've used the youth programs in my businesses, and they have been very successful. We get them to come in, and then we try to train them up and then try to keep them. So it's a great way for you to create a streamline of employees, especially because we know we're all short right now for employees, and this is a great way for you to get an introduction and an entryway. So over to you, John. What's going on at SBDC? How are you guys helping entrepreneurs?
Well, we take anybody that really wants to start a business, they come in and they talk to us. The first thing is we do not charge for what we do. Okay, anybody that comes into the small business development centers, the services are free. And that's because our funding comes from the SBA and also the University of the Virgin Islands. They support our office. So everybody in the territory can receive this counseling from one of the advisors. Our main purpose is, we do training. We have all things, marketing, just about anything that a business person needs, we help them. But our specialty is somebody that has a dream to start a business. And, I've had so many clients come in and they'll go, I'm going to start a business and I'm just going to go out and lease a building. And our counselors will kind of go, really? Do you have a business plan? Do you have a lease for the building? And you want to sign a lease before you even have a plan to run your business. So anybody that is starting a business, we will take them through the business plan and especially the financials. We're really good at that. But anybody that has a business that wants to grow it, anybody that has questions about marketing, what we can do, we have one-on-one counseling and actually will help the individual grow that business. I had a client down here that came in, and I have their permission. Everything we do is private and confidential. But I had a client come in, Todd Manley. He came in with a mason jar with a clear liquid, and I go, "Oh, Todd, what have you done?" And it turns out, he goes, "I have a new vodka that's made from breadfruit, and that today is Mutiny Island vodka." So we took with the SPDC and Todd, we built from that mason jar of an idea into I'm hoping that most people here are aware of the distillery Mutiny Island Vodka here on the island. And I've done this with hotels when I was with Washington State. A lot of people say, oh, the SBDC, Small Business Development Centers, we want money from you, and we don't have money. What we do is we assist you in preparing the very best business plan that you can have with financials and then present it to a lender, whether private, banks, hopefully here on the territory. And from there, that's the step process that we follow. Last year, I was working part-time for Washington State SBDC, and that's 16 hours a week, and I assisted the clients I was working with get capital funding of $1.8 million. So, and that's just from doing the work and getting everybody, bringing in the reality. There's a big step, and especially for anybody in the schools right now, between I have this great idea and then going out and doing it. It's with the services that we offer, it's like, does it make sense? Can we help you get there? And that's the main focus. And we have our sister group for people just starting up. It's called SCORE. Mm-hmm. So, and they have kind of the same funding. They don't charge either. So,
and they do a lot of mentorship as well.
Yes.
And I think that's a great segue into, when you all speak to your clients coming in, whether they're the youth or adults or entrepreneurs, what is one of the core skills that you see that they're lacking and any entrepreneur listening should really work on and making sure they hone that skill? What are you guys seeing?
I like to piggyback on what John was saying and also Sebastien was saying. When you talk about entrepreneurship, we talk about the 3 C's. I don't know if everybody understands what the 3 C's are. The 3 C's are connection, curiosity, creating value. And within these 3 C components, that's what we're looking for when an individual walks in. we understand we will connect you with the resources and the skills to execute. The curiosity is we'll create that safe space, just like what John did with the Mutiny Jar Mason vodka. We'll create that safe space to create that dialogue, to create that innovative, the conversation with their passion, which will develop into an entrepreneurial solution. So what we're looking for is that passion. What we're looking for is that mindset, so we can hone and bring out. Because if you don't come into us with that passion, with that insightfulness, with that curiosity, then we can create that value. We can show you the value in creating that dynamic environment, show you the different paths of entrepreneurships, in which it could be social, economic. So it's by having that individual coming in and having that passion and having that solution that doesn't have that path created for them. This is what we will create for them.
So I'm going to push back on you a little bit, because I have met many people who are passionate, and I want to have this billion-dollar company, and I want to do this and that and the other, but when it comes down to the actual skills and actually doing the work, then it's a problem. So after you have this passion and I have this great idea, then what?
Then they come to American Job Center and go through our entrepreneurship curriculum so we can discuss and train them on the skills needed, on the budget, the forecasting, all the skills needed to actually run a business and create a business. And hopefully send them over with that great plan, send them over to John's shop and say, hey, John, we have this plan, we have this individual, how can we support him now to get the funding?
Awesome. I'm going to double back on that in a minute. What are you seeing over there when the youth come in? Because your audience is a little bit younger, but
Very much.
They don't have the passion and the ideas to implement and do all of this. So what do you think is one of the key skills that you see that they're missing and we really need to work on and put some energy into?
And I do see a lot that come in with a passion, or those that come in and want to do entrepreneurship because I don't want to work for no one.
Correct. And they don't realize you're working
And
hard.
that's what I was just going to say. And they don't realize that you're working twice as hard.
Correct.
We talk about the soft skills, and they don't want to develop those soft skills because I'm not working for no one. But you have to work 10 times harder when it comes. But one of the key things I see is networking. You have your idea, you have your business, but you have to network with individuals to get out there to make your business grow, to help your business develop.
And you know, I'm going to say it again. I'm on camera saying it yesterday, but I tell everybody, your net work is your net worth. It is so cliche, but it is so true. The people and the circles that you interact with, they're going to play a huge factor in your growth. If you are always around the same people who look like you, are in the same position as you are not reaching and stretching your boundaries enough. You need to expand your network so that you can go into circles and areas and audiences that you may not have even known existed, prior to that. And that's a great segue just to share some of the services that happens at SBDC. I was again networking, and they told me, hey, have you ever applied for your designation to get your federal special designation, minority owned, women owned. We're also in the hub zone down here. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I really, do I want to? And lo and behold, you can go to SBDC and they'll help guide you, provide, a checklist and so forth, to help level up your business. Because another point I think with entrepreneurship is that we can't only look at the territory. What are your thoughts about that? I personally think we have to look beyond just the territory. How do you train those that come into your respective organizations to see beyond what's in front of them? What are some of the things that you guys discuss with them so that they know that their opportunity is not just in St. Thomas or in St. John? It's wherever.
Well, I'll take that. One of the first things that I do, I have a couple of companies I've worked with that are doing exporting, and they do a lot to China and other areas of the world. The biggest thing is if you want to get into exporting, and you should, because the money is there. If you've got your product up to a certain point, the biggest thing is to understand the regulations, because say, oh, I'm going to export, I'm going to box up this item and send it across. Well, a lot of times it has to go through customs. There is so much that has to happen, and it's, we will actually I've sat with some clients saying, if you hire somebody at the port to do this and to do the paperwork and to get it to the other end where you're offloading it, what will that cost? And we'll run the cost-benefit analysis, but the efficiency rate, these are experts that know what they're doing. And that's one of the biggest things when we have entrepreneurs, we're talking about passion. Oh, I can do it. Well, yes, you can, but how do we do it most efficiently? So we'll look at that. But exporting, I know, and I'll just use Todd again, Mutiny Island Vodka, they're exporting off the island. They're now in 28 states in up in the upper 48, as I call it. I used to live in Alaska, so I called it the lower 48. Now I go the upper 48. So it's, there's different ways to do that. If you have a product, I know that, do you package it and ship it, or is it more cost effective as an entrepreneur to open up a distillery at the other end? But the revenue coming into the territory, we're all winners. So these are all the questions, and that's the type thing that the SBDC will do and will help you look at it. But I do want to let everybody realize the decision is always yours. And I have a line, one of my clients, I always say, in my opinion, because everything I say is my opinion. It's up to the entrepreneur to make that decision. And once they look at everything, that's the key of what the SBDC and all these, these other wonderful organizations are doing, is to get the person to think about what it is I can do. If you're passionate about something, as we were talking earlier, it's like, when I do this job, I'm getting paid to play, versus when I was in the hotel manager, I was really good at what I did, but I didn't have the same passion because I found what I really wanted to do. And that's what we encourage and help grow that.
Awesome.
I'm push back a little here, Sana.
All right.
What I'm seeing when individuals come in and when they want to say they want to open up their own business, they're looking globally first instead of locally because of social media. I see the opposite. I say, wait a minute, I can do something at home and I can sell it in New York. I can sell it in Europe. So that's what we're seeing, instead of them looking locally first instead of globally. So that's one of the, and from there, we'll work with John, we'll work with any organization and make sure they understand the logistics of it. You need to succeed locally first before you expand globally. And what is the challenges faced locally before you expand globally?
And that's a really great point. Were you going to say something? Oh, no, I agree. Yeah, I think that's a really great point, that you, in anything that you are doing, especially from an entrepreneur perspective, you need to make sure that you've mastered your business. Whether it's a service or a product, you need to make sure that you fully understand the ins and outs. I remember when I was a franchise owner for the IHOP Corporation, and when I first bought the franchise, they told me, oh, who will you send to get trained? I was like, well, I'm going to go and then I'll bring my, no. You send your managers to get trained. And I'm like, no. I am going because I can't have a manager knowing my business better than I do. And there's no way on earth that I'm going to put this multi-million-dollar investment in someone else's hands that I've hired. And so it's really important that as owners, as entrepreneurs, that we really understand our business inside and out, from the top to the bottom, left to the right, so that you can be prepared to pivot and go global when it's your turn at that point in time. What about for the youth? What are they thinking over there? Are they going big? I know this generation goes big.
Oh, they think big.
Yes.
They think big, and they don't do their research. So awareness, I have to agree with John on the end when it comes to know the rules and regulations when it comes to export, cost-wise. Is it really effective? Is there a demand in those particular areas? The person can get it cheaper where they're at. So a lot of those things we try to expose them to and have them explore and guide them when exploring those different aspects of it.
Awesome. And, all of this plays a really big role in the entire ecosystem of our economic position for the territory. And I think that training, research is underestimated. Can you guys share some experiences that you may have had or you've seen some of your clients have with the impact of not doing their research or not getting the proper training? Or even on the flip side, what does doing your research and having the appropriate training, what's that difference? How does that impact our economy and their businesses?
Well, I'm going to jump in because I just had a restaurant owner come in and present their financial plan. If anybody, and an entrepreneur, if you're going out to get lending or you want to borrow some money at some point, you're going to have to do, again, the business plan, the financials. So the lenders, if we had more time, I go through this whole thing, we can do that. But basically, a lender's going to look at four things. They're going to look at the executive summary, the statement of cash flow, the balance sheet, and the income statement, because it tells three different stories. And most, that's where entrepreneurs get in trouble. They look at their income statement and say, oh, I'm doing well. And then when the cash flow comes out, it's like, why can't I pay my bills? Because they're not paying attention. So that's one of the things. But I had this restaurant client that came through and said, when we looked at the income statement, they projected all of their revenue, all of their expenses, and went through and they said, we're going to make, with the income statement, which is also the profit and loss, we're going to make a 52% profit. And I looked at them and I said, really? And I said, do you know what the industry norm is? What the average restaurant in this country, in the territories and the U.S., we're lucky to make 5 cents on the dollar. Okay, anything above that is so they were going to go and present this plan with 52 cents, and I said the lender is going to laugh you right out the door. So as we're putting things together, that's knowing the numbers. We redid those numbers and we worked them, and 5 days later, she presented her business plan, and the bank 2 days later after that gave her a $250,000 loan. Okay, she wouldn't have gotten that if she didn't do the homework. And so you may have a really good idea, but to bring it in line and talk to any one of the group that can give you what the industry standards are and really know what you want to do. And I'm going to vary for 1 second, and don't let anybody, if you have a great idea, don't let anybody discourage you. I heard so many family members, oh, you can't do that.
Right.
And I'm going, why? So anybody, if you have passion about something, find a way to do it. Sorry, I had to throw that in.
No, and that's a great segue because I think it goes with what, you just said in reference to your comment. A lot of entrepreneurs are good at their skill or making whatever they're making. And the challenge comes in with the numbers and the other side of it. It's okay. It's not an embarrassment. It just means you need to find someone who can support you in that area. When I manage, I always need an emotional, soft pillow person next to me. And I say that because I am a very direct person. So when you start crying, I immediately want to solve your problem. Wipe your tears to solve your problem.
I'm going to start crying.
Right.
I have a lot of problems. I'm going to start crying.
But when you're managing, and even in your business with your team members and your employees, sometimes you need that person that will rub the back. And I'm not one of the rub the back folks. I'm like, you need a napkin, wipe the tears. How do we solve it? What do we need to do? And so the reason why I give that example is because when it comes to your numbers, when it comes to your business, there are always going to be gaps. And that should not be a discouragement to you. It just means that you need to find the right, resources, sometimes free, sometimes borrowed, barter with the next business owner on what you can do, or even work with, I'm going to pitch over to Shenika, work with the Department of Labor and some of their programs, especially I wanted you to go back to the apprenticeship program, where I think this is a great opportunity for entrepreneurs to get assistance and train up those to help them fill those gaps. Can you share how the entrepreneurship, the apprenticeship program has been supportive to different business owners and how that can help them get to the next level with this program? Why is it different?
What makes apprenticeship different than any other work experience or on-the-job training is that you're actually getting the opportunity, what we like to say apprenticeship, and I don't want to say replace college, because normal life, you graduate from high school, you go to college, that's the theory, that's the classroom portion.
For some folks,
and then you have to wait till you finish the 4 years, 6 years, depending on how long you go, to actually get the hands-on. Apprenticeship is it combined in one, all at the same time, and you're getting paid. You're being compensated. Wages can increase based upon your competencies that you have mastered. So apprenticeship has been really effective in developing a pipeline of skilled individuals nationwide. Locally, we're part of the national system. The Virgin Islands Department of Labor is the state apprenticeship agency. So you don't have to reach out nationally. We have it here locally to assist you and provide you with assistance of building the programs to help develop.
How much do you charge for that?
Free.
Oh, look at that.
To help develop your business productive. Is a win-win situation for not just the individuals that's getting trained and being able to have a competitive wage, but it's beneficial to the employer where you can customize the training based on your particular business needs, right? And you can save because it helps with retention. When you invest or commit in an individual, they tend to stay longer, and you don't have to be spending dollars recruiting and onboarding new individuals. So apprenticeship is a big push right now because we've seen how we've worked nationally, and like I said earlier, it's not just those traditional programs. It has expanded to over 1,000 occupations.
And I would like to add on to that as well.
Can I just add one thing for the apprenticeship?
Of course, it's your show, David. Go ahead.
Equus is also certified Department of Labor as an intermediary between the apprenticeship programs and employers. So any employers within the island who need support to be a part of the apprenticeship program, Equus can support you.
So you can get a combination, and that's remember what I told you, when you're an entrepreneur, you need partners. So you can work with both of the agencies, the organizations, to get your end goal realized.
So definitely, thank you for bringing that up, David. We just don't help you build a program, but we do our research and explore any funding opportunities that can help your program be successful.
And that, I was actually going right there with you to have you expand on that. I think, another gap is that, as entrepreneurs, we're too busy, right? We're too busy actually running the business to realize that we need to make sure that we're working on the business. And what I mean by that is that, you can do the day-to-day operations, but you always need the visionary time and work that goes into it. And what great program with the apprenticeship program is that they have templates for you. So you don't have to create
We're not
your
starting
own
from scratch.
program.
No.
Right.
Something out there exists. What will help you do is customize it to your need.
Yeah, so it's not that you just have this person that comes and they stuck up underneath you and you're like, John, I'm going to follow you around all day long. And David, what are you doing now? There is actually a tailored program so that there are goals and objectives and measurements and levels that the person that going through the apprenticeship program will be able to achieve. And as she mentioned, they then get compensated because they're able to work on a higher level in your organization, in your company. And again, all this structure is provided by the program. For how much does it cost?
Free. And it's definitely key to business success as well, because it's easier to fill an entry-level position than your skill position. So you're able to use apprenticeship to help you upskill your existing employees, which makes it easier just for you to just recruit entry-level positions.
Yeah, definitely awesome. Did you want to add something to it?
I would love to add something to it. Even for our young adults, we have our Job Corps program right across from Puerto Rico. If anybody's interested in, especially with the youth, and you don't want to go to college, yes, our blueprint growing up is going to college and going for your master's and your doctorate, but we have wonderful, wonderful programs at Job Corps which can lead to successful careers with master welders, like when Chairman Carty was talking about master electricians, carpenters, welders, and it's right across the street from us, right across at Puerto Rico. We run the #1 Job Corps center across the nation, right across at Puerto Rico, and it's open to anybody, and once again, it's free.
That big word. So, and I know that sometimes when something is free, it's devalued. And I think we are in this weird space where we have so many opportunities where you don't have to pay for it. And I think because of that, we are missing out on getting all of this support because we think because it's free, it's of lower value, that it's not as important or as critical. And I can say as an entrepreneur that I've used all of these services and it's been high quality and very productive. And even more important, I think it hit my bottom line, and has been able to expand that. My last question, I'm going to expand, here, especially since I just said that as an entrepreneur, but I'm sitting in this seat today in the capacity as policy advisor to the governor. And I wanted to share that because the reason I'm sitting in this seat is because I am an entrepreneur. And so can you all share, what do you think that impact? What are the skills that someone who may not be an entrepreneur right now, they may be in a different role, they may be working for the government or an organization or private sector, but how can they expand their entrepreneurial skills and how can that impact their success in their current position?
Well, I'm going to go back to being an entrepreneur. We talk about, we realize, and when we think about entrepreneur, that they build businesses and they develop their own personal wealth. But it goes beyond that. They impact the economy. They impact social and economic change, which through this change, they will not only meet society's needs, but also make the change that have us less codependent on old technologies. When prior session, when they talked about Zoom, for instance, prior to Zoom, we had email.
Or the conference call.
Or the conference call, which always, hung up on you. But, with innovation, with entrepreneurship, with innovation, with new products, with new social change, with economic growth, now we migrated to Zoom, a video conferencing call, which takes us one step closer. But more importantly, what entrepreneurship does, it enables competition. It creates business efficiency, which, to our leisure, it lowers our consumer prices.
And all of those things can happen in an organization as well.
Yes.
Right. I'm going to go to John and then back to Shenika. How do you, again, the question is, how do you feel the entrepreneurial skill set and mindset can work if they're not actually the business owner and they're actually in another organization?
Well, my favorite line is, this is one time you can steal knowledge. When I can't tell you in my career, how many toilets I have cleaned and how many floors I have washed and how many dishes I have washed. The thing is, I learned everything as you're getting going. If you're working for someone, look around, listen to what they're doing, what's successful, what's not. And then as you go to, and that's what I did, it's like I worked for Hilton Hotels for years. At one point, part of my training was in housekeeping. Then I was a single dad in Colorado, and I was a nursing home administrator, great title, but that's 24/7. I had to get up. If we had an emergency, I had to get up, get my son dressed, take him to work with me. And he just going, I'm tired. So I took my skill set that I had learned in the hotels and restaurants, and I'm taking the housekeeping skills that I had learned, and I started a janitorial company. Oh, I thought my father was going to have he was going to have a cardiac arrest right on the spot. You're going to open up a cleaning company? I said, yes, because I was able to take care of my son, do my schedule around that. From that training I had learned with Hilton, I started the company and I built it to a huge commercial company. And I wasn't looking, and I made my mistakes along the way, but somebody came in and offered to buy it. And they sat down at my desk and said, I'd like to buy your company. I slid a pad of paper across the table and I said, make me an offer. He slid the paper back and I said, sold. Took me 10 minutes to sell the company. Okay, that's what from the skills that I learned and that you're doing, and you can just keep building and just have so much fun, and there's no stopping you.
That's an awesome story. Awesome story. Shenika?
When I think of entrepreneurship, I think of this innovation. Innovation, because those are usually individuals that create new techniques, new products, new tools that makes everything more productive. So whether you're doing it as an entrepreneur or you're currently on a work site, it kind of impacts economic growth regardless.
Yeah, definitely.
I had a staff member who was a financial literacy counselor for one of my programs. Did such a wonderful job, learned the skill very well, and she left us and she started her own financial literacy company and now is getting contracts through city, state, and governments based on the knowledge that she learned by teaching our clients that walk in.
Yeah, great story. And, the reason why I think that's important is because, entrepreneurs have to start from somewhere. And some of us may be unemployed when you start. Some may be graduating from high school. Some may already be in a role in another organization. And I think what I'm hoping that you all have gathered from, what you've heard from our awesome panelists, is that wherever you are, there's an opportunity for you to hone in on your skills. And I, share my story, how I met the governor, how he offered me this position was because of my entrepreneurial spirit. No matter where you put me, I'm always going to be trying to be innovative, creative. You cannot take it out of me, period. And so he gets to maximize on it right now. But I really want everyone to understand and really grasp that, because you should not waste any opportunities. Everything that you're doing should be supporting your goal, your mission, your dream of achieving whatever business that you want to open. Any closing remarks?
It goes back to 3 C's, what I said before. If anybody's curious about your passion, we'll create the connections for you and also create the value behind your passion.
Awesome. So that's American Job Center. They're located in all of the Department of Labor sites on St. Croix, St. John, and St. Thomas.
And closing remarks for me is I just want everybody to know that there's opportunities out there. There's tools, there's resources, there's services, and you could start at the Virgin Islands Department of Labor.
Yes. I keep telling y'all, I've used almost every program you can think of, even before I started working here. In fact, when we opened the restaurant, we did a training program with the department. And then after we trained them and got them certified, then I hired them, continued training them through the department. So there's just so much support for our businesses and team members. Closing remarks.
As you look at what you want to do, don't ever be afraid to go after it. If it can be done, try it. Figure out how to do it, and we have these wonderful resources. Remember that almost 3/4 of business in the United States of America are small business, and I think it's even higher than that. Okay, so this the small entrepreneur, especially here in the Virgin Islands, there is so much opportunity that I see that people could start their own company and do extraordinarily well.
And on that note, I just want to again thank my panelists. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all choosing, even if some were voluntold, to spend some time with me today. I really hope that those that are in the audience, thank you for joining us here. And those that are listening after this to the taping have received some nuggets and something that you can walk out this door today and try it, make that phone call. But whatever you do, don't give up on your dreams and put some work behind it. Have an awesome day.